Yeah. So let's do this tiny little bell. I don't even know if you can hear it, but let's take that breath of decompression, of softening, relaxing, being present. Just allowing, whatever it is, allowing. In a place of allowing, there's no resistance. There's no conflict. We're breathing in that sense of peace and calm from being, just being. And in this place of being, may we move through the next hour and a half with each other, open and trusting. Trusting the field to inform us and to keep us joyfully and willingly unfolding for the good of the whole. And so it is.
Ahola.
Hola.
Hola.
Happy birthday, Linda.
Thank you.
Yesterday.
It was yesterday. It was such a book. So amazing. I don't know if you saw the post that my three kids and their children, all my 5 granddaughters surprised me. They drove in from an hour and a half away, and they came down the street. There were 3 cars filled with my family with balloons hanging out the car windows, and they had their music blasting, and they had a big happy birthday banner across the van. We just stood in the street and air hugged each other. It was fun. I was not expecting that. So thank you. Yeah, I haven't seen my tiny baby for 5 months. She's growing.
So how does it feel to be in your 50s now?
How does it feel to be in the 50s? Let's see. Let me go back. Long time ago. Yeah, it was good. So good. Just, yeah, just being. Thank you, Julie.
You're welcome. Well, shall we just do a brief check-in?
Sure.
Sure. Well, ahola from Kauai, where it's still morning. And Marion might be making me a smoothie. I've been out for my long morning walk of a couple of miles and jog. And today I did it without headphones, so I didn't jump into the connection field. I just connected with myself. It was all very good. I'm complete.
Well, I've been very busy, and a lot of deep feelings, a lot of, being by myself now for days on end, really been dropping down in. And that's why we talked this morning early on about love and grief, and really realizing how both states of being are essential and both very heart opening and So that's been really, really good. It's helped me to stay open, and amazed at the work that everybody's doing. Shell, I'm assuming you did the new scheduling and all of that, and it's just like, I look at that now and see where we were 2 weeks ago and where we're at now, and I go, holy mackerel. I mean, this has just been phenomenal spread of the love virus. And so I'm just grateful to be part of this incredible mission. I'm complete.
I will check in to say it doesn't feel any different to be 69 and 1 day old than it did to just turn 69. I am very much enjoying the nightly japa. That's really, I feel, changing me. It's, yeah, we're halfway through tonight, so that's been great. And yes, thank you both, Shelley and Julie, for doing these new these new calendars, and these new people coming on. I kind of feel like who's where, who's what, where did this come from? You know, it's just appearing, and I'd like to feel like I'm contributing something, but there it is, and I can just say thank you. I'm allowing this new part of the schedule to be there. And I love the sacred fires in the morning. I actually don't get on when it's live, but I catch it as soon as the recording comes up. So yes, and I'm feeling, you know, Earth Day. What's happening for this day that I always look forward to, this very special day, and what might our part be for the good of the whole with Earth Day. So that's on my mind and my heart, and I'm complete.
Thank you, everyone. I'm just feeling expanded by the field itself. I feel like the voice or spirit of wholeness, or whatever you want to call it, has been just continually just saying, hang in there, just wait, just watch, not just wait, just watch. And I've been witness to it gelling, and witness to its attractor field, and being really trusting deeply how things are evolving. And I think I've been watching it happening, but it's been kind of like all these different parts and pieces. But this morning, and if you aren't checking out Jose's morning frequency, I would invite you to, because it is as soon as he came in, there was a shift in the field. And I'm sorry, the word privileged is actually how I feel. I think privilege has gotten a really bad rap, and I feel completely blessed to be part of that communication. And because I think what he's doing and what he's holding is, he's holding both the earth, the three-dimensional, and speaking to that, speaking like today he was bringing in not only the cosmic activation, the astrology, the connection, but he was talking about, there he was sitting next to the fire, and he was talking about, and you could hear the trucks and buses were going by, and he was bringing that in. And for me, that invitation to step in with him is powerful. And from that, and so I've had to shift my morning because I was really adamant about, okay, I'm not talking to anyone until 10. I'm going to do my, and just showing up for that has been so humbling. And what I saw happen, and the reason that you guys later on experienced this wave, and this is what I began to realize, and I've been feeling it build and build and build by getting on so many calls. And some part of me is like, oh, I'm like over the top of that. But there's something, if you are willing to have that experience, there is something happening. And this morning, I think it really became supra evident. And what happened was, from Jose's, then I got on Julie Down, and she's pretty much, Julie and I were talking, she tends to keep herself and her community very separate. And she didn't open with Good of the Whole or Connection Field, but I was right there to kind of catch it. And because she had been on Jose's call, I just found the way in to just, and I feel like the field is such a teacher, such a mentor. I mean, that's the experience I'm having, and obviously it's getting transmitted because the field was teaching me how to take that energy and raise it up and make her feel so good that she would experience the embodiment of what we've been standing for, right? And so I was able to do that, and then she started to end the call, and what happened because of that was I could feel the shift in her call, and she opened it, her meditations, her heart coherence meditation was really incredible. And I wanted to share this because, we're all infecting each other with this love. And, especially we're here holding it for all of the mentors right here, these 5 pillars. And she was doing this thing, which was really interesting to me. She was kind of inviting everyone to feel the gratitude of loving themselves. So radical self-love, that was her focus today. And then she took it, and she doesn't get the feel totally, but she took it and she was going like, love me, I love you, and she was weaving this relationship of loving me and loving you and loving me. And I could start to, I was having this deeper and deeper experience. And then I started to like come into this place of this embodied feeling of like letting go. And all I have to do is let go to what John was just sharing, that deepening, let go into it, let go. And allow the grace of the field to take hold, right? So there's this whole thing of like, oh, we got to contact all these people, or we got to do this. But no, the field is doing it. And it was so interesting to me because at the very end of that call, she immediately went back into that separation. And I don't know, I just feel like it's important to share this because I think this will help everyone listening for who's coming into their call. And obviously it's working. So then she was like, well, okay, everyone get off, and it's the time for the next call, but just we're all going to get off now. And I quickly, again, it was just like this amazing, it was just like the wind of grace just came in, and it was just like, was able to give all those people the download of Good of the Whole and the resonant field and what would be happening in the next evolution of the next hour. And we saw it, like 4 or 5 of those people, I think about 5, they came in. All those new people you saw today, they came in mostly from her call. Because if I saw Charlie on John's call, and so that wave that we're talking about, I just realized I had this like weird experience of like, weavers of the whole. That's who we be. We're these weavers, and if we stay in the field just keeps informing us, and we're, in a sense, we become the mentors, the weavers, the expressions of the whole for the next level, and so that they can begin to experience this embodiment. So, and I watched, and it was amazing, like how these people stayed on. A couple dropped off, and then 3 more. All these people stayed on. So that for me is the greatest joy, and that, I guess that's my check-in, is just this deep admiration and love for the intelligence and consciousness of what we've been holding. And also for me, that gave me the strength really to stay in, just keep staying here, just keep showing up, make those templates, make those documents, make the letters that are, we're getting people who are wanting to host that didn't even know about Good of the Whole a day ago, right? They're discovering it. And right now there's 3 people kind of waiting in the waiting room to be contacted. But I just want to say, like, thank you, and to understand and to come in here and there, yes, for yourself, but also understand as the advisory council, like we're helping to build that frequency, and some of these mentoring stewards are really beginning to be that evocative. And I think, and going that deep, like you were saying about Linda, to trust those pieces that are coming in and to invite people to allow them to come in, right? So I just want to say thank you, and that's about it. I'm complete.
Reminds me of my my check-in here. It reminds me of last week when I was wrestling with the grit and the grist of marketing and noise in the field, and how do we literally create this, co-create this with the field. And last week I was just in this place of ugh. And it was really clear that when we come in and hold that highest vibrational frequency, everything will attune. And it's like, oh, but then there's these people and there's these people and they're coming in and they're noisy and they're, there's no resonance and there's, and when you say that, Shell, it's kind of like when we hold that, the field is mentoring us, and we're mentoring the mentoring stewards, which are mentoring the people getting on the call. And pretty soon we're all holding that highest vibrational frequency. So it was clear after a couple days of struggling with that, of like, hold that highest vibrational frequency, build it and they will come, instead of how do we get their attention. So saying that, Shelley's talking about individuals that are coming in that want to host, and we just worked and integrated Chief Phil Lane and Jose into our midst, and their people will be hearing more and more and begin to get on some of these calls. And then some of their peeps are coming in to help teach and hold hours too. And so the other piece is, last week, Jude Caravan and her Unity community also want to come in and host and do their part and get involved. And I say that with gratitude, because after we're holding that field, they're coming in. We haven't sent out a single note to any organization. Haven't sent out an email inviting them to publish it, to promote it, to get involved. We haven't sent out a single email. And Chief Phil Lane found us, and Gil Agnew and Jude have found us. Of course, they know we're here. But they want to be involved, and I suspect there will be others as we continue. And Unity Earth is all on board, didn't know about it until I mentioned. He's like, count me in, tell me how I can help you. What can we do to support you? So imagine what it will be like. John's the one that said, wow, just 2 short weeks ago. Now, imagine what it may be like when we send out an email asking for their support and inviting them to get involved. And so that's one of the things I think we're going to talk about here today. I don't have a big agenda, but Shelley and I are looking at how do we respond to, first, individuals are coming in. Right now, we haven't vetted anyone. Chief Phil Lane's brought people in, and they're going to do different things. They're not becoming a mentoring steward. We haven't invited them yet. Hopefully they will. but our response to how to truly make this a cooperative, collaborative expression of the field with all these others coming in, and what that would look like as we develop this 24-hour channel of love that's going out and infecting the world. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Shell. If you want, I think that you had a couple things that you wanted to talk about, so I'm going to just turn it over to Shelley, and we'll dig in.
Anyone have anything to say before we jump in?
I want to follow what Julie just said, because I was watching you do this, and that came up this morning about how each one of us is weaving this, our own beautiful golden thread. And the stronger we are as individuals, the more we can come together and make this net that we're holding well, you had it this way, and I'm holding it this way, that we're holding. And the stronger this is, where there's no holes and people can't fall through, then it's like holding the whole, and everyone can fit in there. And that's the feeling that I'm getting again as you were talking, Julie, and you did this, but you didn't quite bring it together so that no one falls through the cracks. So I just wanted to, that seems to be a theme that's running through for me today, to bring that in.
So let me just add to that on the whole trust in the field, doing the whole field marketing on its own. Yesterday I had 2 emails from men that I don't know, and I had a call from a man this morning that I don't know saying, we want to be part of the Monday evening men's council. Just because the energy is spreading. I didn't contact anybody or tell anybody, hey, send them, and they just did. So it's happening. There's no question about it.
I want to add one more thing just real before we hop in, Shell. Unless, Glenn, did you want to say anything to add to what we've already said?
Of course.
Okay. Please.
Well, I was just going to express a gratitude and an awareness of what John was talking about. 3 weeks. What are we starting? Week 4. Today is week 4 from no thing to holy shit. And again, just allowing and having gratitude and observing and watching this magical interplay of, field is a little bit like a producer, which was one of the ways we were talking about early on, where somebody, maybe I was talking about, where we might take on a certain period of time and find people to fill that spot. Phil's doing that in his way, and this weaving thing is really the dance that we've initiated in our. I guess we're really just holding the field for the dance of magic. It's a dance of wondering magic of what wants to be danced. And we're the kind of the DJs, I get. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I don't know if I'm a DJ at all. I think maybe I'm just spinning around. I don't know. But anyway, that's all. I'm complete.
So the magic, I have to share the magic that happened. So I sent you all an email or texts. I sent you several texts a couple weeks ago, and I said, we need to describe this. What is the 5-hour thing? Because now that we have this connection field and there's all these other offerings in it, it's like the 5 hours isn't the connection field. Because it's like all of these hours are the connection field. So what do we call these 5 hours? And how are they different than special programs or morning meditation or a sacred fire? And so no one responded. And then I had sent, we need to describe it for the millennials. And Shelley said, well, then have Quincy host her own. And Quincy's thinking about it. She'd love to host her own. But Shelley and I were, again, working very late Saturday night on the digest. And I said, Shelley, we have to describe these hours because we have all of this about, we have it was like, here's the connection field. And then it says live from noon to 5 daily. And that's all it said about that segment. But then it's like, but then you have special programming, you have I said, we have to describe, what is this? And so we worked and worked and worked. And we tried to create a title. And then I think Shelley texted John in the middle of the night and said, what's a title? I think there was something going on there. And he's like, what are you doing working so late? And the magic of the field, we were just sitting there and we were both like, okay, let's just go on and get these other things done first. I'm like, let's just get the rest of this done. I got to get this rest of this done. And I don't know if it was 1:30 or 2:30 when Shelley finally popped. She's like, duh, are you ready for this? And it was like the best moment ever. I think Quincy was still up then, so it had to be before 12:30 maybe, but it was like this best moment of this drum roll, please. Like, duh, how did we not know this? And she pops, the Resonance Lounge. I'm like, duh, that's exactly what it is. And it's so much better than that little tab on our website that we call the Resonance Lounge. So thanks, Shelley, for tuning into that. But if you do have people asking, what's the Resonance Lounge? Or how did we get the Resonance Lounge? Michelle said that on, I think it was your call, John, or one of them, when I was listening in this morning of, oh, now we're calling it the Resonance Lounge. We still have the connection field, and these 5 hours are a time to just come in. There's no agenda, there's no topic, there's no whatever. We're in the lounge. We're hosting the Resonance Lounge. I think it's perfect and beautiful. And Shell, do you want to add anything to that?
Just simply that it's something from, I don't know, close to the get-go that we've had on the website. We had it on the website years ago, and then we got so caught up in having to do other things that it wasn't being developed. So then we took it off, and then we brought it back out just a month or two ago, and it was just sitting there, and it's still, the capacity isn't working at the, because we were saying we just wanted to have people, what a great thing, the Resonance Lounge. People can now go and communicate. People were looking for ways because they were not happy. Some people were not, would want the chat because that's what they do in the chat box. And so then that's how that came. But just to know the background, that it's been there, that was the duh, because it's been sitting there, and all of a sudden we realized that it was ready to be birthed in a way that was actually what the truth of it was. So what we had always intended it to be. So without a lot of chit chat.
And where is it? Because I haven't been able to find it yet.
It's
I might have even taken it off again. I don't know. I'll have to go back on here.
I was just on go to the whole looking for it, and I couldn't find it.
It's not really a lounge there. So part of so in my experience of being in the Resonance Academy with Nassim, they had a fantastic, I don't even know what they called it, a lounge, or they called it something. They still call it something, but where whatever platform they were using had the capacity for people to really come in and connect and communicate with each other and be a part of the larger group, which I don't know that Nation Builder does, but basically that's kind of where the idea for me came from anyway. And but Nation Builder, the way it's set up, it's just people just make comments. It doesn't really work. So
the funny part is it's under our offerings, and it says Resonance Lounge. The funny part is we asked you all to go warm it up because we were going to activate it a couple weeks ago. And Glenn, you're the only one that made a comment. So
I couldn't find it again.
You found it a couple weeks ago, I should tell you.
Maybe it was a link that you had to it or something.
I think we should just take it down because it really doesn't work.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take it down right now. It was 23 days ago, Glenn.
So just on that note, I would like to invite us, if you guys are, and we'll bring this maybe into the mentoring stewards, maybe, I don't know, or maybe just individually. When you're hosting a call and you hear if you hear and this would be really the only, one of the reasons to record, but if you hear someone give a great testimonial or sharing what they're like, today it happened a couple of times where people, Marcel actually was one that I caught where she was just expressing her gratitude for the experience of the connection field and what she was gaining from Good of the Whole, just from being on a mentoring steward call that she just happened to get thrown into. She never knew even what it was. And then I had a conversation with her, but still, like those quippets are just, we want those, they're just beautiful. So, and if you went to the digest, you saw that picture, that photograph of the tree by the river with that quote. So I was on with Kate by myself, and she said something. I'm like, oh my God, and she said, oh, I live by a river. And I said, oh, we would love a picture of the river. And if you have want to share a one-liner about the experience that you're having, because she's been in more than once. And she was completely willing. But it takes us to kind of catch it and say, and I invited her to send a photo in for the digest. It's so simple. So these are the things that we can be sharing and catching here and there. Not you don't have to go searching for it, but if you're on with someone by themselves and you end up getting to know them more intimately, send a picture where you live or what inspires you or something. Anyway, so much for that. Ready to go forward? Okay.
One question. Was Grace supposed to be here?
Okay, so I actually saw that, but there's been, Julie and I were on a really big call with Grace, and right before that call, I think, Grace sent a big letter, and she was kind of, in some ways, was pulling out. And even though she didn't think she was separating off her, Julie's been talking about her tribe of the Global Heart team. And then Julie and I came on because that letter kind of freaked me out. It came really in the morning and right before a call that I was supposed to have with her alone. And I just was like, I can't do this. Because I was definitely bothered by how much time I've spent with her trying to get her to keep coming in and understanding the field, which she kind of does, but she doesn't. And so in that letter, she had said that, and she had texted me afterwards saying, I think I want to wait a few months because I want to focus on the Global Heart team not being in the Advisory Council. So that got put on hold, and then we had another conversation with her, and now she's much more in. But I forgot to ask her, well, does that change do you want to come in the Advisory Council? So I need to go back to her, and I made a note. That's why she's not on this call. So, or we're not sending out emails, so it may be that she just wanted to, but we didn't let her know. So, or I didn't let her know. So I'll contact her after this and find out where she's at. But thanks for asking, because I realized that when we began this call, I went like, uh-oh, where's Grace? And I realized, it's her own creation, but she might want to come back in. And on that note, we're inviting her to really deepen into the field, and with Julie's beautiful way of coming in with her, she is going to feel into how it feels to be autonomous in a certain way, but have the umbrella of being under Good of the Whole, because she made this whole assumption that Glenn, the Ohana Legacy, and you, Linda, the Pachamama Pajamas, had decided to take yours out, that you weren't really holding the space as allowing Good of the Whole to really be the sponsors of, work with Good of the Whole as, in cooperation. She completely misunderstood that. Did I say that right, Julie? I'm not sure that I said that right.
Probably. I think she, well, the gist of her email was that she was going to take the Global Heart team and go create a nonprofit and run it. And that when she read the documents about the residents, the orientation documents that Shelley sent last week, right. She thought we were something very different, and she saw her Global Heart team as very small, but wanted to create her own nonprofit and move forward. And So she didn't understand the idea of how literally it could be an umbrella and it could hold a lot of different ways. And same thing we've been working on with Glenn and the Ohana Legacy Foundation, and understanding how the pieces fit. And when we got off, she understood clearly, and she was going to go think about that and try to, I think, define how she wanted to carry it, whether it would be actually a part of Good of the Whole that she has autonomy over, or do a DBA, or still go do her own nonprofit. So that's how we left it. But
She's not going to go do her own nonprofit. I already talked to. I've had another call or two with her.
Yeah. Okay.
So anyway, so I mean, it's beautiful because it helps us to understand. Understand people coming in and look at what we need to help them understand. And we did start talking about it as a three-legged stool months ago, but I think at some point we just need to bring that back as clear information for people, so that what happened to Grace doesn't happen to other people. So, okay. So what's evolved out of these people that are coming in and wanting to host? So Julie and I are working on a letter. A letter, really, people asking about hosting who are coming in from not knowing anything about Good of the Whole to asking if they can host. So we started putting together a letter, a template letter that could go out to these people. And then when Chief Phil Lane and Jose came in, well, they're not going to be, it was written with the consciousness of mentoring steward. You're going to come in and be a mentoring steward. And we realized, well, not everybody's going to come in and be a mentoring steward, especially someone who's holding a larger community necessarily. So we were working on that today, but what really defined itself was that Tuesday mornings, we are going to use that hour that's open to have an orientation it'll be an orientation for Good of the Whole, the connection field, and with the invitation, encouraging them to become mentoring stewards and helping anyone who wants to come in and be a mentoring steward. So number one, taking it off of my plate where I'm talking to people one-on-one. It's a lot of my time, and helping them to understand, and they'll be able to come in. So with that understanding that we are going to do that, well, then of course comes, well, who's running it, right? Who's going to run that call? And so obviously it'll be once a week, so 4 times a month, unless there's an extra week. And obviously it can't be the mentoring stewards, and it's got to be us here. And if I look at myself, like, I don't want to do it every single week. I can't make that commitment. So we're asking each one of you to consider. Now, Glenn, it's maybe way too early for you. I don't know. But that if we each took one of those weeks, then it's only once a month where we need to show up. So, and I don't mind starting it for the first 2 weeks, and, us trying to create a kind of an outline for how that call would be run. What is oops.
I'm just showing the calendar just so you could see where it's at.
Yeah. And so it would be, Tuesday morning from 11 to 12. And of course, there are some people that aren't going to be able to make that, but then from the first week or two, maybe we can make a video. We'll do a recording that will be enough to be able to send someone, and then invite them to come. If they need more, then I can do a call with them or something. But so can you take that off, though? It's a little bit distracting. Okay. So so I just want to invite you to think about that and see if you're willing to do that. Let me just check my notes here.
Can I ask a question about that, Shel? So this orientation for someone to become a host, they just come for that 1 hour, or is it they come for 2 or 3 or whatever?
Okay, so so again, you just have to. We're playing with this because there's the leaders of an organization, who are a little bit different than individuals. So obviously we want them to become mentoring stewards, but so we already have that template which says if someone's really becoming a mentoring steward, yes, they would start out in the orientation, and then they would, as part of that agreement, they would have to go, the way we have it set up now is they would have to go to show up at 2 residence calls and 2 mentoring stewards calls. Maybe with that orientation, maybe it's 2 residence calls and 1 mentoring steward call. I don't know. We're kind of, that's in discussion. But like as an example, Marcel, who came in from Julie Down call, she was very happy to listen to the fact that I are really encouraging you to become a mentoring steward, which would include having a donation of $15, and just explaining that to her, and come on the residence calls and come into a mentoring steward call. And she was, another mentoring steward call, and she was like loving it so much. She was like, I'm in, fine, no problem. So that's that situation. But somebody like Jose, right, who, again, maybe it's a gentle vetting of feeling into who, then he's not going to become a mentoring steward, and Phil isn't going to become a mentoring steward, but
Maybe.
maybe.
Yeah, cancel, clear, erase.
Okay, I'm not worried. Okay, yes, but there is a reciprocity of donation. There is some type of reciprocity of donation, something that they can be offering. And I'm not canceling clearing, because I think there are different people.
No, but you said they won't become a mentoring steward.
Okay, well, I don't see Jose becoming a mentoring steward. He's living his lifestyle. He's involved in so much 4 worlds, and anyway, so whatever. That's just my.
But he wouldn't be hosting an hour of the lounge, would he?
No,
No.
No, it's a special program. And
Yeah,
again,
yeah.
still we still have it that anyone that's hosting a special program really should be a mentoring steward. We want to encourage that. And maybe I'll talk to him, at some point and whatever, but I'm not worried about it because he's bringing in his whole community. He's, Phil Lane, he's completely, what's the reciprocity? Jesus, he's bringing in, we got an email from somebody who wants to host, who's in his 4 worlds leadership program. So, again, just anyway.
And Shel, let me just answer, let me add to that for John's question, is that this orientation isn't an orientation for hosting the residence lounge. This is an orientation for good of the whole. So like if you don't understand what good of the whole is, you don't know the organization. So it'll be the organization, and we'll talk about the connection field. We'll talk about the residence lounge. We'll talk about mentoring stewards. So you'll get a big picture of what is good of the whole.
I get it.
And you'll understand resonance, and you'll understand our calls. So it'll be like just this beautiful general that would go into the more specifics. So
And
I think it'd be great if people signed up for that. Instead of just showing up, to say, if you want to come to the orientation, sign up so that, if I came in and did a Tuesday morning, it'd be nice to know that I was going to have 3 or 4 people or 5 people, or am I going to sit there for an hour with nobody?
So I just want to respond to that. So first of all, in the letter going out to them, or if I happen to speak to them first, or Julie, we are going to tell them first, you have, like I did with Marcel, you have to go, the first step is to go into Good of the Whole and sign in. So they're already receiving the digest, they're already getting it. And it could possibly be 1 week there wouldn't be anybody, but I think even some of the mentoring stewards are going to want to get on that call, that we're going to say to them, come on that call, because at least once or twice, so that you can get the bigger picture, because most of them do not get the bigger picture. They don't get it. So I don't know. I wouldn't worry about sitting there by yourself, but if for some reason you did, then again, it's just holding the space for, and I'm hearing what you're saying, but that would require another, I guess, I don't know. just have them sign into the orientation. I don't know. I'm not sure that they need to if they're already signed in to go to the whole. We already have their name.
You know, I don't know. I mean, I'm just thinking if I'm not hosting that, but I wanted to do that, and I was new in particular, maybe, you know, mentoring stewards are already there or whatever, but I don't know, it's kind of like a commitment of some sort. And I would feel more included if, you know, it's kind of like if you take on a new job, and I know this is not a job, but if you take on a new job, there is an orientation and you sign, yes, I will be at the orientation. I don't know, maybe it's not important. We could try it without it and see what happens. That seems like it's,
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
How do you feel about it being a video? Because we talked about if we have a good couple sessions that are live, then we have a nice video to share with them.
I like that idea.
Do they get the same experience? Do they get to feel the resonance? Do they, you know, it's like a video is, yeah. So,
Okay, so I'll just share why I don't, and I understand what you're saying, John. Just for that mere fact, you know, when you're talking to someone that you are in the present time of the field itself, and all that block is another opportunity for that field to come through and touch someone, and yes, to have the replay video, because there will be people that can't do that Tuesday.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then we would send them the video and then just say, once you watch the video, email or contact me and I'll talk to them, because we don't want anybody coming into this field really without having a sense of the bigger picture of what they're coming into, or being able to feel that expression. And you know, what really infects someone is that within 6 feet connection, you know.
I know, but they're going to have 4 experiences of that, right?
But the first step in is the orientation.
Right, which is mostly informational. No? Okay.
I mean, it is.
I'll go with the program. It's not a big deal to me.
Well, okay. I mean, I think it's great that you're bringing this up, because this is going to be the most important thing for you to talk to people, right? Because if you really believe a video is going to be the same thing as you being present with someone, or Linda or Glenn in that hour, you know, I just know for myself, when I watch a video, it's like, oh, you know, it's great, but it's never the same of my connection. You know, somebody might get on that call and they might be really touched by Ken who's sharing, or Linda, or, you know, it may be that they're going to call Linda and not me, because they're like, wow, I want to know a little bit more, but they're not going to get that same thing. We know this video land thing, it's not the same. So I'm with.
Okay, that's great. No problem.
Can I jump in with our land of and that we're living in? When you say video, and Julie, you create these magical videos that are 1 minute and 11 seconds. That's what Chief Phil saw. Boom, and he was just drawn into it. Then he talks to us, then he knows there are warm bodies around. So I would not be opposed to some sort of an orientation that's a minute. It just gives them a feel for when they come into the orientation program. This is what Go to the Hole is about. And then we do our thing.
So I think that's part of the video that's being created, hopefully this week, with Julie. We've talked about expanding that 1 minute video, and Julie, you can respond to this, where it also brings in Chief Phil Lane and the 4 Worlds and the different people that are already involved right now, and it does explain a little bit more. But that orientation can't be done in a minute, really. I mean, honestly, it can't. But we can do a little bit on that additional piece. I don't know.
I'm not talking about doing the whole orientation
right
on a video, just like a trailer, a teaser, you know, like, come on in, now here it is.
Like no more than 2 minutes.
And maybe we should rename it so it's not orientation. it's the good of the whole experience, or it's the, what is that? It's like, how do you feel the experience of wholeness? How do you embody? So maybe if we named it something else, it wouldn't be so cognitive. And
Yeah, it's an introduction.
Yeah, introduction, but I mean, I just had this vision of, just for starters, the 5 of us, each one of us taking a section. Shelley, resonance. Julie, overview, whatever. One of us could talk about the lounge. One of us could talk about special events. Just lining out the specifics of what Good of the Whole is about on a video as an informational piece. I think that could be sent out to anybody, everywhere, because people ask me all the time, well, tell me about Good of the Whole. What is it? Here, have a look at this. I don't know, just a thought.
Okay, so show up on that first Tuesday morning and you'll be in. You're booked. You're locked in. You talk about your part. Glenn will talk about his part. Because the truth is, you can talk about these great ideas and the extra video to create it. And like, are you going to show up? Or are you going to show up or we could do it right now, or we could do it. But I just want to speak for the people who are behind the scenes, and it's great ideas. We're still trying to get to the additional piece of the connection field video, and we haven't gotten to it yet. And that's just really me and Julie. That's what we've talked about, is just Julie and I doing an additional piece, but we've also wanted to invite you guys as well. So I just want to speak for the energy that's going on behind the scenes. That's all.
It's unbelievable what you guys are doing. There's no question. I don't know how you do it. I barely can. You had to tell me to get on this call. I forgot about it.
No, I don't feel like to be. It's just simply. I mean, to me, one of the key words, and Lyndon knows this, is from 2 years ago, was simple. How do we do this in a way that is simple and nurturing and gives people what they want, and
it can always evolve into something else.
Yeah, I mean, I love the idea of not calling it an orientation, but either an introduction or a presentation. Introductions.
Oh, it's a marketing piece. In that sense. But
yeah, I think there's like a better word even. And just having the energy of the highest vision present, and then not just, it's like who we be and what we do. And we have to have the who we be in there. Shelley and I made a quick, I don't know, I sent it to you, Shelley, the MP4 of it.
Yeah, we're going to, what? You mean from today?
Yeah. We made a little brief video for you guys as an orientation.
We're going to show it. I thought we were going to show it.
Are we going to show it? You want to show it?
Absolutely. Well, wait, we're not. I just want to make sure we're complete with this.
Okay.
And
okay.
So the first question is: it's great to make a video, and if you guys want to do it, great. But if we're going to start it next Tuesday, or at least just have the agreement that, you guys would. Still, we have to show up and do it. That little video isn't going to really do it, or at least then I'll just show up. But are you willing to show up, to host a, whatever we call it, call, and maybe it's 45 minutes or.
I think someone's here. I'm going to go see who came in. Okay. Someone's in my
Anyway, so again, a video takes energy, time, clarity of what you're going to say and who's going to say it. And
Do we have a format, the clarity on what, if I were to show up next Tuesday, what I'm going to do?
No, you're not going to. I'm going to show up. I'm going to host that call. I will be glad to host that call and just get the ball rolling, or me and Julie will show up and get the ball rolling so that,
But still, whether it's you or me, is there a format that you're going to use?
There is, but do I know what it is right now? No, because
but
we
you don't know yet.
we only
Okay,
discussed it
that's all
like
I'm asking.
an hour ago.
Would you suggest that we come on that call that you're hosting, or Julie's hosting.
Of course. I mean, yeah, but also not
we
wanting to, not wanting to, yes, of course. But, you know, I know everyone's working really hard, um, and also it would be the first one. So, you know, it'd be getting the kinks out, so to speak, or whatever. But if you want to have a part to play and you know you want to come on, I feel like Glenn, I want to honor that he's in Hawaii. That's 11, is that 5 o'clock in the morning for Glenn?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. So, you know, just want to be kind and, you know.
And the fire service is even earlier than that. It's 3 in the morning.
Right. So I'm not asking. That's why Linda's watching it afterward, because that's being done, and I'm playing with getting the momentum with Facebook Live again, and that's all straightened out pretty much. So, you know, so yeah, so that's all.
So I suggested coming on if it's the first orientation. I don't have to have a part. I just want to hear how you are doing it, so that it's a template for us when we go solo in May. We'll pick a Tuesday, if that's what I'm understanding.
In May, yes.
In May. Well, there's only 2 more Tuesdays in April, so.
Okay, so I think we just want to move on. So let's just hold that in the field, and if you have an issue, just text me, call me.
Let me toss in something here too. Is I see our leadership team as being holding the whole package of good of the whole. And it seems to me that when we get into doing an orientation, we're into the content of a particular program that maybe we're doing, or because there's nobody else to do it. But it seems like there's work for us to do in creating this bigger picture of what good of the whole is about. For instance, digging into the idea of how do we work with other nonprofits and build that structure, and so that we can be that in a bigger picture. And we've kind of gone down a rabbit hole the last 4 weeks that we're starting, of this particular program that we're doing. But there's more to what we, I think, want to be doing as a collective than even just this field, the connection field. Does that make sense? And so when you guys get wrapped up into doing a particular video or a particular thing, it's almost something. Is there anybody else we could delegate to do that kind of stuff, or can we bring, you know, are we reaching toward being to a place where we can have that? So we ought to be thinking about that bigger picture of how we get that mechanism in place.
I think that's a beautiful idea, and I'm like all on board with you. I'm in total support. And Shelley's been doing a lot of one-on-ones because she carries the mimetic code. She literally embodies the mimetic code of good of the whole and what we're talking about here. And it would be beautiful to train a volunteer. We have people who want to be mentoring stewards and do a trade with us. They're probably not the right people to do an orientation, but you're spot on, correct? I think as we move forward, that needs to be pieces that we can delegate, definitely. And so thank you for saying that. And I know I've said this to you guys before. It's the same reason why I'm choosing not to host an hour, because literally we're building the superorganism, bringing different elements on place, and there's a lot moving in the superorganism right now. There's a lot moving in the superorganism. So the connection field is a beautiful initiative, and it is also a beautiful model of a potential superorganism that we're responding to and that the field is bringing forward. And how we function as a nonprofit has to move toward that direction, Glenn, I think. I don't know of anyone, right? Oh, the connection field just ended over here. It just went black. I don't know who can hold that right now. And perhaps with training with Shelley, training someone. Shelley's the best representative right now, I think, but
So
anyway.
I'll respond to that, and then I just kind
I
of.
would, no, I would agree too, Shelley. You're the queen goddess of that world. And at the same time, I know Linda's working on the Pachamama pajama thing, and I'm probably no more than a month away from making my first grant application. And I'm going to be looking for several $1 million. And I'm going to need to say in that grant application, where does that money go? And I need the detail. I'll need the, and does it come here to go to the hole, which is what we've been talking about? Do I have to do something else? So there's just, and other people want to come play with us too. So we need to get our act together around how we deal with that too.
So I just want to say that this is where each one is of us here, and therefore out beyond, is really listening for what is theirs to do. And you and Julie have been really focusing on that larger picture. What the field brought forward, I mean, if you just look at it, before 3 weeks ago or a month ago, we were working within this field of influence, right? And all of a sudden, because of what happened, we're now like, I mean, just imagine the sphere of influence that as you begin to put together that larger picture, I know it's not me, I know that I'm the one who, I mean, Loving Waters is like beating at the door, like, come on, you guys, get it together so I can come in. Now, whether that's and I've tried to get this contract, whether it's sounds like it's the DBA. So I would just say to you, just listen for what's yours and just keep working. Obviously, you're working on that level. I'm working on, this, weaving the connections, getting them in, getting them comfortable, getting them to feel safe and excited and whatever else, So, yeah, and I think it'll help when we show you Julie's video, or the video that we just made. But right before that, I just want to get through this little bit. The other thing is Jose is getting on at 9 a.m. every morning. And right now, what's come up inside of me is like, okay, I'm the one who's getting on at 9 a.m. I'm the one who's opening that call with him. And yesterday he had me read this whole piece because he's very into opening a certain way. But then today it was beautiful. I said, do you still want me to read, or do you want to do it yourself? And he was like, I'll do it, But I had this realization. So 2 things. One is I realized, okay, am I going to open up at 9 a.m. every morning, 7 days a week for Jose? Or are we going to teach him and show him how to give him the way in to go to the hole, and he can do it? But then comes the question of, he can't do the ceremony and run Facebook Live, right? So then do we take it off Facebook Live, which would be a shame, because he's got a lot of people that are watching. He's immediately, when he sits down to do that fire ceremony, he is starting a watch party in to all his people that have been watching him for years. My question here again is, is just putting this out. You don't have to answer now. You can talk to me later. Like, is anyone else willing to, okay, one more piece, I'm sorry. Part of the reason why I think it might be important that we just don't hand it over to him is because what you experienced today was because I started the frequency in the field. I introduced Go to the Hole. I introduced just a quick thing of hosting Go to the Hole in the connection field, and that so glad to welcome him, or however you would do it. But basically that started the resonant field moving, because even though he says thank you to Go to the Hole, there's no information for anyone. If he was to do it himself right now, there wouldn't be any information of what this is and what's coming up and anything like that. So there does need to be a little bit of a host, and it's got to be one of us right now to open the Zoom room and be willing to do it. And so I don't mind. I'm having the most unbelievable experience, but the invitation is, if you are not Glenn and not getting up at whatever time that would be for you, 3 in the morning, if there's anyone who would like the opportunity, because it is an opportunity and a gift to be there, to host, to be in that frequency. If you feel like, and again, John, you're in Mountain Time, Linda, you're in Central Time, so it gets earlier and earlier, obviously, because Jose is at 6 a.m. So right now I'm happy to do it, but I just kind of wanted to put it out if anyone has any thoughts, and we don't, I think, just talk to me about it.
I have some thoughts. That really doesn't work for me because
Of course.
I still have to do my business in the morning before I start Good of the Whole. But isn't this something that a well resonant steward would be perfect to do, especially if they were on the East Coast?
If they're, yes, in fact, thank you, because it could be a mentoring steward. I don't know if we want to give them the way into the Zoom room. I will have to think about that. But yeah, I will ponder that. That's a really good.
I mean, like
That's a situation that we could definitely do that.
like
and give them a
Ken.
little
Ken
script.
might be the perfect person for that.
Yep, and give them a little script, you know.
Or Sharon Hardy.
Or Sharon.
Or Sharon, yeah. Okay.
Where is he doing the fire ceremony? What location is
But
he?
she can't. Okay, so I gotta kind of think about this right now.
Shelly, he's in California. Shelly, the other thing is like on this old computer, like I'm on Good of the Whole right now, and I can't share on Facebook on this one.
It's just the settings. Oh, I think it's
No.
just the settings. No.
It's the Good of the Whole setting. It's the Good of the Whole.
Oh, it doesn't have that. It doesn't have that.
No, but I can't update this computer either.
Right. Okay.
So,
So, all right. I'll take that into consideration. We don't need to spend more time with it, but thank you, John, for. That's true. I can work with someone, but I also have to teach them how to do Facebook Live. So, which is fine. So, thank you. So that doesn't have to be on us. It can be on somebody else who can. And maybe I can just open the Zoom room. I'll think about it a little bit more.
Now, also, I mean, I'm turning over at the end of the day, at 5 o'clock Eastern time, I'm turning it over to Phil. And so do I need a script or a little intro, something to?
He hasn't really, we're not there yet, are we, Julie? We're not.
no.
He doesn't even have anything set up yet, so don't worry
Yeah.
about it.
Oh, he's not starting Thursday?
I see him on the schedule starting
Okay,
today.
so we'll explain that. Phil just asked, can you just block out this for my people?
Done.
So right now, we just blocked it out. That's why it's in yellow
Okay.
for him and yellow for Jose. But yeah, there's nobody put in there yet. When you'll see names pop in, and sorry, you're right, we didn't make that clear.
Okay. That's no problem there. But then the transition from whoever has the lounge at at the end of the day to move it on into Phil's organization.
Yeah, we'll work that out.
Just a weaving.
It would be the very same of how we've been doing it anyway, just passing the host whenever they come on. So
okay.
And we would talk to them about how to introduce Good of the Whole, or we've mentioned he loves that video, so maybe they're going to just show the video, and that's why we need the little bit longer one so that it explain. There's a little bit of all of us, or Julie, or myself, or somebody in there that it's giving a little bit more information than just that video, because people don't know what the connection field even is.
So will Phil or Phil's people then pass the host directly onto our evening special events?
If there's nothing after them, then they would just go out, and the main computer would hold it open for the next person in the evening. Right, Julie?
yes, and I just updated this manually. I just updated it manually. Wow.
Yay.
I got it on my computer, so I could do the Facebook too if it's me some morning on this one.
Okay, cool.
And not this one.
And Julie, why don't you just go down and go to Costco or Sam's Club and buy a fresh little something that'll take care of that. I mean, they're not,
Take care of what?
you're not buying a Mac for doing that. So I mean, those other computers are cheap, a Dell or something.
I had the realization over the weekend that I could open it on my iPad and then I can take it anywhere on my iPad as well, which is pretty portable. So yeah,
Make it simple.
it's just an old computer sitting here.
Okay, so I think we're good. Let me just take a look at this. And just so that you know, I put up an updated calendar and asked the mentoring stewards to stretch a little bit more, the ones that only were taking one day or 2 days, to either come in and relieve us or to take something on Saturday and Sunday. And I think there's still 2 slots open on Friday, so that we're trying to, so if you happen to be speaking to any of them, that would be a great encouraging thing. And I'm also calling on the people that have really been receiving for 7 years and aren't reciprocating and aren't mentoring stewards. I'm actually going direct and saying, hey, it's time. Come on, come in and offer your gifts, because they're still coming on and receiving without any reciprocity. So
I know this has been brought up before. I think Linda, you might have brought up. And is there a list of mentoring stewards that?
It's growing every day.
We need it on the website, and we need to get them on the website. And then all you have to do is look under the community and see them on the website. And that's a page that needs to be updated. And tonight I was hoping to update the Connection Field web page because we added so many programs this week too. So those are just back end things that have to get done. But we don't have, John, I don't have a bio on you or a photo for you. And like, we all need to have our photo.
Let Linda report in on that. Do you have them, Linda?
I don't have them. I put a word out, but again, I have to go into the website, get a list of the people who are already mentoring stewards, which means that they're paying their dues every month.
I will send you a snapshot.
We already did. We already gave
the.
Linda has the list.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do. You asked for it. You got it.
Okay, let's jump forward and let's. I think we're doing really good. Let's just give a grateful hug to everything that everyone's doing.
And this wonderful, amazing administrative assistant that's coming really soon. Because when we get 300 mentoring stewards, we're going to have the funds to pay her or him.
Now, also asking
or the robot. Maybe by that point it'll be a robot. So
I would love to have the purpose of good of the whole that's in the IRS approved document, whatever that is, so I can look at it from what we're doing with other organizations.
Julie, did you take the extension, or did you do your taxes by the 15th?
It's not even done yet. No.
I literally called my accountant on the 15th, and I was like, okay, here I come. Like, what do I need to do? And how can I just file for an extension? He goes, Shelley, have you been listening? I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. He goes, it's just a rollover extension till July 15th. And I'm like, yes. Okay, let's just show you the video. It's really short, and then we can end this call. And thank you all and for listening and showing up and being amazing. We're all mimetic coders for the good of the whole.
Glenn, I owe you that. You've asked for me for a very long time. And it reminds me that our attorney wanted to set up the time with the accountants, and I think he said tomorrow, which I can't do it tomorrow, but it's either tomorrow or Wednesday on his calendar.
Well, whatever you do, I'll make it work.
So I need to, oh yeah, he has it on his calendar for tomorrow. So obviously tomorrow I can't with the radio show, but we'll reschedule it and get that going, which then we'll have the accountant and the attorneys together. Okay.
Talk about the doing the DBA idea and whatever.
Right.
That reminds me, I need to get hold of Bob Orenstein. Okay.
Perfect.
Okay, am I showing this video or are you?
You had to have.
I emailed it to you, but I'll just pop it up here on my computer screen. Okay, I got it. I'll share screen.
You're gonna love this.
Do you think they will? Let's watch their Let's see
I don't
here.
think anybody's seen it. Glenn would have said, I think Glenn would have said something if he saw
No,
it.
I only emailed it to Shelley, to you. I
Oh,
didn't.
no, I meant on the, it started out on the website, but go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, doubt it. Okay, here we go. So this is actually what I should do, Shell, is just pull it from, oh, there's a hawk.
Oh, see?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Okay.
No, just do it right now.
Okay, I'll do it right
Go
now.
for it.
Even though it's already on a video where I took the whole time. Can you guys hear okay? Because I forgot to hit maximize video. You're okay? Okay. So this is a diagram of good of the whole. This is a diagram of living for the good of the whole and what this really means for us, personally, locally, globally, and then cosmically. So I have another ring around it, but it was too confusing to put on our site right here. So this I put on the front page so the people in my course could see. So when we begin with wholeness, when we begin with the experience of wholeness, resonance, unity, whatever you want to call that place of embodying the impulse of creation. This experience of wholeness leads us to this first circle, which is our personal realm of living for the good of the whole. Once you experience wholeness, you can't help but live for the good of the whole. And that then is, you begin to see everything differently in your personal realm. You begin to see relationships different. You begin to see your vocation different. You begin to see the world differently. So embodying this wholeness then and living for the good of the whole leads you over here to local, to this other circle, which is creating whole systems health. That once you realize that health and that wholeness in your personal relationships, in your family, your marriage, and other places, you can't help but see other systems and structures that aren't living for the good of the whole, that aren't with that same template, that the mimetic coding of wholeness here. So that leads to your local domain. And then when you come back here again, living for the good of the whole, and you begin fully expressing that ethos, fully expressing this experience of wholeness, then you move toward cultivating a whole world view that literally in your workplace, in your relationships. And I gave the example of Kevin, that when I'm in this place and I'm fully expressed here, a couple of weeks ago when coronavirus and the pandemic set in, I was listening to Kevin having to transition all of his office sites into a lot of online and work from home and all of his people. And he was literally teaching what's for the good of the whole. And teaching each individual that you need to stay home if this is for the good of the whole, and helping them understand the relationship of social distancing for the good of the whole. It was fascinating. And it's not his language, but it's me expressing, which is cultivating a whole worldview. And he can understand it because he's living with me. And so we come from this place and we begin cultivating a whole worldview. And then when we're living for the good of the whole and creating whole systems health and cultivating a whole worldview, we are literally evolving the ethos. We're evolving, and that's in our mission statement right there. So experience, embody, express, and evolve. And that's good of all.
And that's awesome. Thank you so much. And by the way, everyone, this is on the website, and the website keeps transforming. So check in every once in a while. All right. Do you want to explain the other one, or do you want to just let?
Well, this is good of the whole as an organism. And so, of course, the experience of wholeness is right here. And all of this is here. And that's why I put the equal sign here, is that here we are. And if you look at those three things that we say, we're here to mentor, train, and prepare individuals and organizations and initiatives that live for the good of the whole. We're here to equip and support those who live for the good of the whole, and we're here to uplift and amplify those who live for the good of the whole. And so here's our education piece, which is in between the mentor, train, and the uplift and amplify. Our media piece is the uplift and amplify and equipping, and then the resource repository is between those two. So that's how we function as an organism. And when we do, we're literally living this new mimetic code into reality.
So this is amazing. And so just before you take off the record and bring it to the Advisory Council, for me, I'm looking at this and going, this is your genius coming out in radiant vibration, that this is the way that we would have a one-day event based on that, and it really, to me, I'm just looking at it going, oh, perfect. This is a perfect way to, open a one-day experience or a half-day experience, really giving people a visual and then giving them the experience. So I just wanted to add that in because all of a sudden I just went boink. That's so beautiful what you did. So thank you.
Well, thank you. And an easy thing to add to the brief orientation.
Absolutely.
On Tuesday
That's what I was looking for you, silly.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, stop the recording.
Oh, and let's just show them this because it's,
Okay.
I love that in the sphere, when we feel it in the sphere of wholeness.
Yay,
So,
I love
okay, I got to stop share and then hit the record. Okay, and then I'm going to stop share.
Beautiful.
Nice impromptu video.
So wouldn't it be cool if if on the website somebody could click on it and hear that 3 or 4 minute conversation about that in a separate video that's where you're just saying what you just said, basically, but it's just to be able to click on those graphics and go into the video explanation, which is short, succinct, and
So that orientation would work for the orientation piece as a piece that you would show in the beginning to everyone. And yeah, so yeah.
I have a little longer version because I used it on the Healing Field Wednesday night, and I could see and time the clip and see how long it is that I took from the beginning to the end. And what I did on the video was I just did one circle, and you saw what it is to embody wholeness, and then I added the circle, and then I added the circle, and I added the words so that you're seeing it unfold, and it's a little less cumbersome when it's that way and you're only focused on that.
Does the resonant field or resonance need to be brought into that somehow, or is that after that's included in wholeness, but that comes a little later?
Yeah, actually, I put the resonance in the very center with wholeness, embody the experience of wholeness, resonance, unity, that consciousness is in the center, and it holds the whole thing, because there's another ring out on the outside that I considered the cosmic, the more universal. So I had the personal, local, global, and then the universal cosmic, which is the field.
Beautiful.
So I had it in the core, and I have it on the outside.
Beautiful. Good job, ladies.
And that's on the Good of the Whole website?
Just the images.
Diagram is just the diagram.
Well, yeah, the diagram.
On the front page, in fact.
yeah, the diagram, the front page is really looking good, I
Changes all
think.
the time.
But to be able to click on that, then have your explanation of it right there live off the front page too would be,
That'd be great. Beautiful.
good value.
And I just got to tell you, the digest is freaking incredible. I mean, that is just it's like reading the newspaper. It's just awesome. It's got everything on it, except for the comic strip.
Going and going and going.
We can,
Going.
we can have the comic strip. We just have to find the right person people to just bring in the comics, of
You're in
course.
charge. Bring the comic strips. Yeah. We'll put them at the bottom because they're always on the last page.
I think what really, for me, just really is going to, it just felt like when we had something from a participant, and like we were reading, John hasn't really shared this, but there's David's wife, Nancy, I'm looking forward to talking to her, and she has this whole piece around whole systems health and different pieces that could go in as a blog or into the digest, or, the more we invite, or listen for what participants might have, and we invite the participants in and a little quote from them, we're really rounding out the field, because people can, here comes these people, and it's not just a list of testimonials, it's an expression, an artistic expression. And that was what was so beautiful. You opened it up and it was a participant. It wasn't even us hitting you with here's our programs, So I think the more that, so just listen for that, because I think it's such an addition. Or example number 2, Pamela came in here yesterday and she showed me, do you remember me showing you the spiral art that she did? You
showed
well,
me.
Julie does.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's this amazing spiral art. I'll show you. But in any case, she has it live because it's on a spinner. And she's willing to sell the art. It's completely like, I was like, oh my God, Julie wants it. I know. I thought of you. I totally thought of you because let me just show them. I'll show them. Hold on. I might have to turn the light on.
We need our store for good of the whole products.
Yeah, well, she's definitely one for sure. And so I'm going to just undo my headset for 1 second.
I think we ought to do Glenn's turtle art. I think that would be a really wonderful piece there.
Okay, check this out. All right, see if I can. There must be a way. Okay, so can you? It's hard because of the background. Okay, so this is one of her pieces. It's kind of hard, but it's on a spinner, and see how it spins.
Yeah,
so what is that? The toroidal field moving. Well, she knew that. She said the amazing thing about that was that when she took a picture of it moving, it made a human body. And it looked like a human body. And so she gave me pictures of that she took of it moving and of it alone. So I thought that would be a great thing for the digest. And yeah, we could have a store, but she's willing to sell it. And there's one in gold, a similar one, a little bit different shape. And like it's sitting right in here, so all you have to do is keep your eyes out. And so I did. I said to her, can you send me some pictures of the art you feel like? Go read the digest. I sent her the digest, said, go read the digest, tap into it, feel into it, and to see what art you have that would be fantastic for the digest. And she's learning about good of the whole by speaking about it. So, it's around us. We just have to be present to it. So you'd be surprised.
Well,
And they might be a photographer, or they might be.
there's a lot of artists in our community, and we could have our own art store. I mean, I've got a friend, he has his art online, and he works through a gallery, and he basically gives them a 50% commission.
So, I mean, I know Pamela will be open to that. So yes, absolutely. So who wants to create the store?
You know, build a store. Can you do it in
We will find someone, because that's something that, but in any case, I just wanted to bring that in because it's sitting right here in front of us. And it makes the digest yummy. So, and I still haven't had the opportunity to share some of the movement with the superorganism. So we'll try to do that real soon, because there's some really incredible things going, but we're over, and we're over 7 minutes. So
I'm going to say, I've got more time. I'd love to hear about the super.
I did have somebody come in the door when I went to check. So I'm going to go visit with that person that came into my house. Yeah, but I will share that soon. Anything else for the good of the whole? I think we're pretty good. Just keep on doing what you're doing and be who you are, and hold the space, the magnificent space that you're holding. And like we're seeing, I mean, every week there's another mentoring steward or a few mentoring stewards, and that's going to build the field, really, because they get excited. They're going to share with their friends and community, and those ones that are a little slower to get it, a little puffing up, they'll get it. So
one of the major keys for the lounge today on all hours that I was part of was trust. Just trust. And Linda was a major component of that, but trust. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Come visit our trust department.
Right,
That would be great. A trust department.
It was great.
Grow your trust here. We'll package it up for you.
So invite the people who are coming onto your calls into the Mentoring Steward community too. Grow
Absolutely.
fields
So
out.
make a little plug for that for sure. In
And-
fact, is it this? Is it this? No, not this week, but it's coming up. The public call. So
Next week.
not next.
2 weeks.
And how about Global Family coming in here and doing their, Carolyn Anderson doing Carolyn and.
She is a part of mentor.
Yeah.
They're a part of the whole.
So
You
I'll,
should,
I'll reach out to her.
You go talk to her because we're full up with people that we need to talk to.
No problem. I got it.
thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Much love.
Good work with the diagrams, Julie. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Look
Yeah.
forward to the video.
Create more coherence in your mind.
Yes.
Okay.
The superorganism is emerging. Maybe it's when you emerge. We're just aware. We're just becoming aware of it.
It's emerged. It's kind of like you know how that there you can have the this is the image that just popped when you said that, Glenn. You know those coloring books, and the little kids only have to dip their paint in water, and then the colors emerge when they start. That's what it's like. We're dipping our brush, and it's starting to emerge. So, okay.
Pretty soon we're gonna delegate it out to everyone, and we can just go party on some island.
Kauai.
So
Why?
I know that somebody's already on an island. We'll have to
That's
talk
right.
to that guy.
Yeah. I wonder who that is.
Lots of empty rooms beside him. Lots of empty.
Lots of, yeah.
Turtle Man.
Turtle
Tons.
Man.
We're just about, I think we're 8 days now without a new case.
That's
So,
awesome.
It's really, we're moving in a positive way to open. We could be the
Is
first.
that just Hawaii
place
or Hawaii? Hold on. Is that just
Kauai, just Kauai, just our island. Yeah, we could be the first place like this open in the United States.
Did you guys hear about South Dakota? Anybody hear about South Dakota?
Yeah, you guys, yeah. I
So
have.
Nebraska's like that too, where we have this open state. You still can but South Dakota had a meat packing plant, and they have like 1,200 people in the state. 900 and some, almost 1,000 came from that one meat packing plant.
Wow.
And they haven't addressed the issue of whether the virus can be transmitted frozen on the meat.
Whoa.
That conversation has not been emerged about whether they've contaminated the shipments of meat over the last month.
It's a good cause for vegetarianism.
That's right. That's right.
Don't eat the pork.
Well, did you hear that? That came out this morning that, was it China or one of them? One of their major industries was pigs and pork, but the pork got all, the pigs got all infected. So they just had 60% of their total number of pigs shipped from France to China, because the demand for pork is so big, but their pork is all contaminated. So now they're shipping it in from France.
So what do they do about contamination? Because we don't know that it will live in another animal species, and we don't know if it'll live on butchered pork. We don't know that.
Nope.
So it's like, is that true or not true? It's like, there's so much going on right now.
Oh my.
I still wouldn't eat the pork. No sausage for me.
There goes John's chili.
Goodbye.
All right, guys.
Goodbye, everybody.
Oh, see, he got off. I freaked him out.
Okay, bye
I
guys.
love it. I love Lucky's bacon. Lucky's makes, smokes their own nitrate-free, all-natural bacon. It's really good. Lucky's Market.
Okay.
All right, Julie. So you're going to let me know something about this attorney or this.
Yeah,
whatever you might
I'll
do in the
email him
next-
now so I
in the
can.
next few days.
Yeah.
I'm leaving. Love you guys.
Okay.
I'll work.
Yeah.
I'll work my schedule around.
Okay. Bye.
Love to get that settled.
Yeah. See ya.